Hello and welcome once again to We've Got No Idea What We're Going to Say with Ben Simmons and Nick Murphy live on Ignite Radio.
We're back!
We are quite literally back, although I feel tonight's broadcast is straight away tinged with a slight air of sadness.
I'm sorry.
Not anything to do with you this time.
Well, what's the point in talking about it?
Well, 2 weeks ago we were joined in the studio by a lovely young lady, girl type woman person.
You said this was nothing to do with me, but I'm here again this week!
Hey! What I was going to say is, sadly, it's just you and me this week.
Oh.
There is no lovely young lady,
We had
girl
an attractive young blonde girl on my bed at
Yep.
exactly this time last week.
And surprisingly, she was driven away and we've not heard from her since. I don't mean she was driven away like in a taxi. I mean sort of repulsed by being with us for any length of time.
She might have gone away in a taxi as well, although I think she just took the underground.
Yeah, we've definitely walked her to the tube. If she then came back out and got a taxi, that's just strange.
She didn't want us to follow her.
She really didn't. But anyway, let's forget about Nicole C.
Oh, well, I was going to say, have we actually mentioned her name? But it's Nicole C.
Yeah.
Right.
This programme isn't going to feature Nicole C, and we've mentioned her 3 times.
I think maybe you should tell people how to get in touch with us.
I'm certainly going to. Listening several or millions, however many of you there might be out there. As ever, this is a completely interactive radio show here on Ignite Radio. We've got no idea what we're going to say. There are a variety of ways you can get in touch, and if you do get in touch during this next hour, we will mention you and say hello and say thanks for listening and for being generally legendary. You can email, if you want to, at info@wgni.co.uk. Alternatively, you can search WGNI on Facebook and make sure you don't go to the American radio station. That's not us, but there is a lovely picture of me and Nick on Facebook and you will recognise us. Or you could do that crazy tweeting business at WGNI Radio. Alternatively, if you're desperate and can't be bothered to search and are already friends with either of us on Facebook, then just use our normal Facebook pages, but still like the radio show.
Absolutely, yeah. No, there's a whole host of ways to get in touch with us, and I think the important thing to remember about all of those ways is that you have to get in touch with us.
And I do know, from trying in a desperate attempt to drive the social networks crazy for the previous hour before this broadcast, several people I know are listening.
Yeah, we have been trending on Twitter. We have been appearing on Facebook to literally each other.
Yeah, and it's been a nice time, but we've had enough games of Candy Crush Saga to last a lifetime now. We should probably move on. Don't
Other
pretend.
games are available.
Yeah.
I've never played it. I don't know what it is.
So, loveliest of Nick Murphys, it's quite literally 14 days since our last broadcast.
Yes, indeed.
What on earth has happened to you in those 14 days worthy of mention?
It's the first 14 days of my 35th year.
It really is, isn't it?
Or is this my 36th year? I suppose this is my 30th, because your
Yeah,
first
'cause
year
0 to
is
1.
your 0,
yeah,
isn't
so
it? Yeah.
your 36th year.
Wow,
yeah.
I've just got myself a year older in the last few
feel older?
minutes.
You look a bit slightly more rheumatic now. Actually.
Rheumatic? I feel completely youthful and younger than ever.
Do you?
No. In fact, actually, this is a bit later than my normal time I go to bed.
Isn't it a shame? I'm obviously staying at Nick Murphy's place tonight because we do broadcast from his flat, and it was slightly worrying to realise that I found it desperately important about 9:30 to get the spare bed ready where I'm going to be sleeping later. We're hardcore, aren't we?
Oh, just to controversially stop you here,
Ooh.
we've had our first message.
Have we?
Oh, but it's not from someone who's actually listening. I was going to say, our first message that's appeared while we're live on the air, but it's from Nicole C.
How did she manage that? Because I messaged her earlier today and she told me she wasn't going to be able to listen.
Well, she's messaged to say she's not listening. That's what she messaged.
It's almost as if she knew we'd mentioned
Could
her.
you maybe keep talking while I tap away on the keyboard to say you've messaged us while we're live on air and we're talking about you?
Right, that puts slightly more pressure on me, but it does give me the opportunity to say hello to several people who actually left messages slightly before the show started. I did put on Facebook message here for a shout out, so I've got to say hello first.
Hang on,
of
so
all.
let's clarify, they're not necessarily listening to us.
Yeah, but I believe they will be inspired to listen because they know they're going to get a shout out.
If they get a shout out, they
Yeah.
have to then message us to prove it. Otherwise, at the end of the
Cool.
show, I'm going to do like an anti-shout-out.
You're going to take back the shout-outs of people that don't listen.
Absolutely.
Okay, people. So if you messaged me, got in touch, liked the page, or did anything in the kind of half hour precluding this show, and I now mention you, you have to acknowledge that mention by getting in touch either on Ignite Radio's page, WGNI's page, or tweeting us at WGNI Radio to acknowledge that message. So first of all, I'd like to say a big hello to Neil Reynolds.
Neil Reynolds.
Who's an actor and director. I was on a cruise with my dad doing our cabaret act, and he was on there directing plays and being a general legend.
Excellent. Well, hello, Neil. I don't know you, but you better be listening.
Only one way to find out, Neil. Only one way to find out. Also, a special hello to Alex Kafatzoglu, who has a long surname, but he was the St John's ambulance man at Chroma Pier Theatre, where I did 2 summer seasons 4 and 3 years ago.
What's his surname again?
You just trying to test me now?
Yeah.
Kafatzoglu.
Sorry, I missed that. What was that?
Yeah, anyway. Did you know, interestingly or not, people call it St John's ambulance quite wrongly. It's actually the St John ambulance. There is no apostrophe S. My dad told me that, and I got bored when he told me. So,
well, I think we should get away from that terrible tedium by mentioning we've had our first actual message from an actual listener.
I think I can see who it is, but I'd like you to tell us what it is.
It is the very, very, very lovely, but slightly annoying, Lainey Boyle. She likes to take the mickey out of me.
She is very, very, very lovely, though, isn't she?
Everything about her is lovely, apart from the fact she keeps taking the mickey.
And she has messaged the show with a question for you,
A
hasn't she?
question for me. Do you want to read the question, and I'll try and answer it?
The question for you to answer as diplomatically as possible, Mr. Murphy, is, from Lainey Boyle, has your head got bigger now you're older?
Well, now I'm older, of course, now, and I'm also live on the air.
Yeah.
Then I'm very proud of that fact, and I like to think I have.
Now,
got a little bit egotistical about it, so...
I think you've got a little bit confused there, because most people would think Lady was talking about you being a big head, loving yourself a little bit, now you've got a radio show. She's actually talking about the circumference of your head, which, to those who don't know you... whilst not obvious to the naked eye, is unnaturally large, isn't it?
No, it's fine. But it's... I know, and you know, that I have to buy baseball caps from a very particular shop in America.
Imported from America. It's not a joke or a lie. That's where he gets his hats.
It's a live shop. It's called bigheadcaps.com. Other cap shops are available, but I can recommend it. bigheadcaps.com.
Yeah.
Excellent place. But yeah, it's basically, I do have what some people would consider a larger than average head, but it looks in proportion.
There's nothing when you look at you that you think Nick's got a massive head. You would never think that to look at you, but I think it's reflected quite well in all the shows you've ever done where people try and give you costume hats and they have to be enlarged or don't fit.
But if anything, I would say my head's got smaller now, I'm older.
Really?
Yeah.
Your brain cells are slightly dwindling?
No, they've just got more efficient.
Right. So you've got less brain cells, but you've managed to make more connections between the neurons and are actually more intelligent with a smaller head?
Yes.
Good, well done. Lainey Boyle has posted another comment on her own comment, which is too rude to read out on the air, unless Daniel Bell says we can say what we like. And I know he's listening, doing his coursework.
Well, it's not too rude. Oh, yes, it is too rude. Too rude.
You've glossed over it, but I think you should wish Daniel Bell well doing his coursework. One of our bosses at igniteradio.com.
Igniteradio.com, Daniel's Bell?
Yes.
Like,
that's
many
almost
people
his
often
name.
say Daniel's Bell name incorrectly. It's actually Daniel Bell. There isn't an apostrophe S.
Well done for correcting yourself. Yes, you're absolutely right.
Here's something I heard today.
Your brain made a link between Daniel Bell and St John's ambulance there, didn't it? That's why you've got that confused.
You know, people get the apostrophe, use of the apostrophe quite sort of wrong often, and you particularly get upset about this.
I do
don't
get
care.
upset about grammatical errors, yeah.
But for things like it's and it is,
yeah.
When it belongs to something, that's when you should have the apostrophe S. But when it's like the convention is we don't use an apostrophe for it belongs to its.
Yeah.
So why is that then? They just changed the convention.
I don't know why. I don't make the grammatical rules.
Well, people break them and seem to be happy about it. So explain yourself.
Well, I would if I could, but I can't. I'm not an English dictionary master.
Well, that's a pity.
Although I do frown on bad grammar, and I do think it reflects on your intelligence if you're unable to construct a sentence properly. But let's not get into that now, because I know it'll upset you.
We could argue about this for the rest of the hour. I've just had another message. This is exciting.
It's always exciting when people are messaging, and they're flooding in tonight.
This is clearly someone who's listening live on Ignite Radio.
Always exciting, and I gather from what you've told me about this person, it's another lovely lady girl person.
It's one of those very nice female types.
They're different to men, aren't they?
What? Anyway, this is the very, very beautiful Fiona Steele Anthony, who's listening live on igniteradio.com.
I don't want to pass judgment, but I'm looking at your Facebook page, Fiona, and I would agree with everything that Nick said.
Except, I hope you're not going by her cover photo. That's not her, I'll just be clear. That's Frank Zappa. It's not Fiona.
Oh, in that case, Fiona, I haven't seen enough photos to pass judgment.
No, she's my very lovely friend, and she's genuinely someone who born and raised in Luxembourg. You don't meet many of them.
No, you really don't. I can honestly say I've never met anyone born and raised in Luxembourg before.
The first photo I've just brought up of her on Facebook, she's with world number 2 rated chess player. She herself is a very, very strong chess player, a woman's international master.
Is she a lot better than you?
Yeah.
If you played 100
everything.
If you played 100 chess matches against her, how many would you win?
I like to think in 100. You know, we always say that if I played Lauren, I'd get 100 losses. It would be 100-0 to him.
For people who don't know who Lauren is, it's Nick's housemate who is an international chess master.
Yeah, I reckon against Fiona, I could get 99.5 to a half to me.
Right. So you'd get a draw in
one. I reckon I could draw one game out of 100.
Now, Fiona,
she's giving it up for the the Luxembourg?
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
I will give it up for the Luxembourg.
And I think in giving it up for the Luxembourg, Nick Murphy has issued Fiona with a challenge there. So you've got to play 100 chess games against her and see if you can scrape that draw.
I'm not going to play 100 games. Although I would enjoy spending quality time with her, I'm not going to play 100 chess games.
Right.
We might like, have a drink or something.
Well, you know, some people are dedicated to a challenge, and some people
She's accepted the challenge.
There you go. See, this is what I like about our radio show. It brings people closer together. A month ago, you got an offer of marriage from Nicole C.
Yeah.
Whilst that hasn't exactly materialised, it's in the pipeline still. And now you've got a 100-game chess challenge from Fiona Steele Anthony.
You see, Fiona knows how to get me to do this challenge. She said, challenge accepted over a couple of bottles of wine. I think that's the only way we can do it. Although, to be fair, if I drink a couple of bottles of wine, I definitely won't get the one draw.
And you definitely won't get anything like through 100 chess games. You get through 10% of one and then pass out dribbling. We've talked about chess far too much now.
Oh, come on. You know that we're going to end up talking about chess with me on here.
Yeah, all right. There's a couple more people I'd like to say.
I just want to say one more thing. Could Fiona tell us, what do you call more than one person from Luxembourg? Are they Luxembourgians? You know, like someone from Britain is British.
Yeah.
What do you call them? Are they Luxembourgians? Tell us.
Yeah, we need to know. There's a few more people I'd like to start saying hello to. I'd
Right.
like to say hello to Steve Medler, who lives in the Cromer area of Norfolk. He's a bit of a general legend, and he was one of the friends of the theatre when I did summer season there, and he's now a comedy magician in his own right.
A comedy magician? Does that mean he does comedy, or he's just funny?
No, he's a magician who does a few jokes while he's doing his magic.
Oh, nice work.
Yeah. And also I've got to say hello to Mike Ritchie, who I met in the last couple of years doing pantomime in Weston-super-Mare. He was one of the front of house staff, but he's also in a very successful local band called Cut to the Chase.
Was he front of house when I was there? I can't remember. I don't remember someone called Mike Ritchie.
Did you go around asking all the front of house staff their names?
No.
Well, then you wouldn't remember Mike Ritchie.
Well, I was suggesting that Mike Ritchie might like to message us and tell us.
If he knows you.
If he's met me.
I probably think he hasn't.
I worked at that theatre for about 6 weeks.
Oh, did you still work there that long ago, Mike? That's what we need to know.
That's the question.
I didn't
It took you a long time to work that
forget.
out.
Because I've been there 2 years, I haven't got any other recollections and assume nothing ever happened there before
you were there. We've had an answer to the question. It's Luxembourgish.
Right, that's a bit crazy.
Or
There you go.
Borgish. My pronunciation might be terrible, but Luxembourgish, I think, is probably right. Oh, she thinks that's the case. She
Well, is that good enough? You know, we can all think things, Fiona. You know.
See, I'm a bit upset now because if it came to like a quiz and we actually had to have a question about people from Luxembourg, she'd be the one I asked. She doesn't even know herself.
I think I've had it up to here with Fiona Steele, Anthony, and her not knowing her own country's traditions.
That's it. That draw, I'm going to destroy you in that draw.
Do you know what? The first few minutes of this show have veritably flown by.
They have, really have. Goodness
I've been enjoying
me.
myself, and I've almost completely forgotten about playing a random song.
Well, I think we better do that then.
Do you want me to?
Yes, please.
As random songs go, how do you feel about this one? You've got about 4 minutes to think. There we go then, Daft Punk and Pharrell Williams. So, Nick, is that your favourite song featuring Pharrell Williams?
No, I have 3 others that I prefer.
Oh, wow. And obviously you've been contributing towards that being number 1 recently.
Is that number 1?
I believe it's the current number 1. I should just point out to anybody that hasn't listened to this show regularly that we do play random songs, and we have a playlist, obviously, of many songs. We don't know what ones are going to play, just fitting in with the theme of we don't know. We've got no idea what we're going to say.
And not only do we not know what's going to play, as Ben Simmons is entirely in charge of playing the music.
Well, you've
and
revealed
I never
that.
really listened to it at all.
Yeah.
In the intervening times between shows, I have no idea what the music is even after we've played it.
I think it's fair to say that I've often been ridiculed for having a taste in music that can only be described as generally liking pop music, and you've been ridiculed for not knowing anything about any popular music.
Well, I think we need to mention just some of the messages we received during the course of this.
Yeah.
And speaking of the music, I'm very happy to say a big hello to Mandy Elliott.
Mandy Elliott.
She's
Aw.
listening right now.
And she wasn't happy with that song?
Her exact message was, play something decent, meh.
Well, I think that's shown her displeasure in no uncertain terms.
Yes, so...
Do you know what I do when I'm sad about songs?
What?
I go to the O2 Centre in Finchley Road and get on a Thomas the Tank Engine ride that only goes one way.
I think you need to explain to everybody else who isn't me, you or Mandy what the heck you're talking about.
Nick, Mandy and I all met up at the Central School of Speech and Drama, as it was known. It's now the Royal Central School of Speech and Drama.
It's got
where we
Kingly.
It has, yeah. We did a postgraduate course. We haven't seen each other for a while. We last met up about, a year ago? Something like that? Maybe a bit less. And we went to Nando's in the O2 Centre on Finchley Road and came out after a few drinks, got on the Thomas the Tank Engine ride in the O2.
You're good at telling stories, aren't you? We got on the...
Yeah,
If you lose interest during the story, what chance have the listeners got?
Can I just explain so Mandy doesn't feel bad? I was distracted by Nick Murphy pointing to me that we'd had another message come through. And then he's tried to make it look like my fault, which is why I hate him.
And now I'm taking my trousers off.
I've got to give another shout out to the legendary Mr. Johnny Mack.
Ah,
He's a Scottish comedian who I did summer season with 5 years ago in Bournemouth.
right.
Do you know what, as well? Something I found amazing about what he's done with his career. When I was doing summer seasons in Cromer, he was not very far away in Great Yarmouth, doing a summer show in a circus in Great Yarmouth. We did 5 days a week, I think, and had Sundays and Mondays off. He didn't get a day off. They did about a 5-month summer season. They didn't have a day off.
He works hard.
Johnny Mack works hard. There is no doubt about that.
That's proof.
Absolutely. And when I did summer season with him, I used to cut headlines out of newspapers and stick them on his dressing room door. It was hilarious.
Ah, the long summer evenings must have literally dragged.
Yeah, you had to be there, and it dragged even if you were there.
Lainey Boyle's messaged us again to say that she's removed her earlier message. She wants to know if she's the first person to delete a message during your show. I think I answered the first one. You should answer that.
I think she absolutely is. Up until recently, we've had a string of apathy involving our show where people just didn't bother to listen. Now they listen and actually post messages. I think she is the first to actually have a message and then delete it. So whilst I can accept what she's done, there are tears running down my cheeks right now.
Well, she has said you guys are great, and I think she includes me in you guys. So.
Wow,
That's the first nice thing she said about me in about 2 years.
She's typed that, but while she was typing it, she was thinking big head, big head, big head. Nicole C is also listening, and
that's exciting because she wasn't listening when we were talking about her earlier.
No, hello Nicole, now you're listening.
Let's
but we've
hope
already
she never
spoken
finds
about
out what we said.
We can't repeat it. Yeah, but we will put this on YouTube so you can hear it if you didn't get it live.
Ah.
You didn't think about that, did you?
Okay.
No. Going back to previous messages, and in a kind of answering a challenge type way, Alex Kafatzoglu said if he comments that he's not listening, do I have to then mention him again because he's commented?
If he comments that he's not listening, do you mean if he doesn't confirm that he's listening?
Yeah, all right.
Because I said he had to confirm that he was listening, otherwise we were going to take away the shout-out.
Right, so I looked at the post during the song. We've then moved on to other posts. I didn't remember it perfectly. Again, you've pointed out a small fault, and people out there must be thinking, what a picky bastard.
Well, yeah, but I think that's a bit harsh because you're not that picky at all.
Yeah, I know. I wish people didn't think it about me, but there you go. Anyway, another person who got in touch with the show is quite exciting for me, this, because you know how much you and me are probably a bit too old to, but still like wrestling?
Not old.
Yeah, but answer the question. You like wrestling, don't you?
Yes, I do like wrestling a very
Someone's
lot.
got in touch with the show that's recently got involved in the world of wrestling, but the slightly less popular...
The Rock?
No, the slightly less popular UK wrestling.
Ah.
A few years ago, I did a pantomime in Derby with Ben Thompson, who was one of our backstage staff, and in the intervening years, he's become President Money Benjamin, UK wrestler and general bad guy.
That's actually exciting.
Yeah, so well done, Ben Thompson.
Well done, indeed. And if you're wrestling anywhere near London, let us know.
Why, are you going to jump in the ring and tackle him?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you are hard.
Look, I said I was going to tackle him. I didn't say I was going to survive.
So you're happy to tackle a trained wrestler and then let them do whatever happens to you? You're just going to face the consequences?
I'm going to face the consequences. I won't be happy.
Right.
In fact, I'll be miffed.
That is a good expression that people don't use enough. Miffed. Oh, I'm miffed.
Well,
I was just expressing.
President Money Benjamin, we need to also shout out to the lovely Rosalind Blessed, who's listening.
Ah, she's
live
listening.
now.
I believe in previous fortnights, because this is a fortnightly broadcast, Rosalind Blessed has had some technical difficulties listening to our show.
It's where she is now. She doesn't have the internet, but she does as of about 3 days ago.
So, really, if I'm being a picky bastard, your original comment wasn't quite right. Where she is now, she doesn't have the internet.
She is now, she didn't have the internet until about 3 days ago.
That's correct.
So the technical difficulties were not having the internet.
That does make things technically difficult if you're on an internet radio station. I appreciate that.
Not if you're on an internet. Well, it makes it very difficult if you're on an internet radio station.
The interesting thing about the lovely Ros Blessed is she only our friend, she's also our director now.
That's right, and our writer.
Oh yes, we're doing a bland. That's really unlucky. I did not mean that.
What a terrible Freudian slip. It's a very bland. No, it's not. It's actually.
I'm so sorry, Ros. We're doing a brand new play, myself and Nick, written by Ros for us, that's partially based on things that have actually happened to us. Sort of
vaguely based. Well, it's very based on our lives, but it's not us.
It's not us. And it's interesting playing roles that are very like you, but aren't you.
Yes. So, but it is based on kind of stories from our lives, and it's going to be appearing soon. We will let you know, probably at the Etc. in Camden.
I was going to say appearing at a fringe theatre near you in the coming months.
If you live in Camden, it is.
It's very near you if you live in Camden. If you live in Carlisle, it's appearing at a fringe theatre blooming miles away from you. Although I doubt many of our listeners live in Carlisle. If you're listening to this and you're in Carlisle, message us.
Yeah, Mandy Elliott says yay for my shout-out. But she wants us to play some Stevie Wonder. I don't think she understood when we said we play random music choices.
I believe when we were conceiving this show, we thought, let's have random music choices because that will reflect the way the show works.
Yeah.
People can't request songs because they might not be on the playlist.
We said messages. We said you'll get a shout-out. Nobody mentioned anything about asking for songs.
Just to make Mandy feel a bit better, and I won't do this for just anyone, I just called to say I love you.
Now play some Stevie Wonder.
Yeah, that was me singing. I know it sounded really realistic, and I was doing that weird sort of swaying like he does, but, you know.
You were actually doing the swaying as well, which I think is
possibly
actually...
was in bad taste.
Yeah, bad taste.
Yeah, apologies to Stevie Wonder and his acquaintances, but I won't do that again. So
Nicole sees messages to say she's in Wales.
Well, I believe that's
we didn't ask.
No, it's just nice of her to show an interest in something that we didn't ask. So thanks for that, Nicole. Who else can we say hello to? I think we owe it to ourselves and her to say hello to the lovely Rachel Woollett.
Is she listening?
I believe she is.
She better be now.
If she is, you know you need to message us again, Rachel Woollett, to prove it.
Rachel Woollett, she is lovely, and she joined us at the London Zoo shows last year for our comedy show.
For the uninitiated here on Ignite Radio, myself and Nick do belong to an impro group, and we've done impro on the London circuit for many years. One of the first lovely ladies we met through that was Rachel Woollett.
Yeah, she was very lovely, and she's a very funny person as well.
And she's got
I don't mean funny looking.
She's got a very large personality, hasn't she, Rachel Woollett?
Well, a normal-sized personality. It's a nice personality. I don't know what you're getting at.
Right. Then let's leave that right there.
Do you mean a big fun bags?
I'm not saying either way. Yes, I do mean that.
Right.
So, hi, Rachel. Message us if you think that was inappropriate, because let's face it, there's nothing you can do about it. You can't stop us broadcasting. Only Daniel Bell and Callum Sutton can do that.
Yes. And anyone with access to the internet at my house.
Yeah,
we could take the internet away, and then we wouldn't have internet, which would be a technical problem.
And there must be a government facility to hack into someone's computer and cancel what they're doing, so the government could do it.
You think there must be?
Yeah.
Why?
Because hackers
think the government could hack into my computer?
Yes.
That's probably true.
Anyone who's got anything like Log Me In knows you only need a simple app to log into someone else's computer.
We mentioned Muslim
Log Me In is so easy to use. It's so easy to hack into someone's computer, but that's with their permission. But the ease of Log Me In shows that it must be possible for the government to do it as well.
Changing the topic completely, Nicole C has clarified, because we were talking about Carlisle and listeners in Carlisle, that's why she mentioned she was in Wales.
So
she's clearly missed her geography lessons, because Wales and Carlisle is literally nowhere near Wales.
I do think you've misunderstood there. I think she's pointing out that we were saying Carlisle was a long way away, and she's saying Wales is quite far away from a fringe venue in London.
Right, that's not strictly what
I'd like her to now clarify is she's put, I'm in Wales, you were talking about Carlisle, you meanie.
Yes.
Is that me or you she's calling a meanie?
I'm going to say me, because I said we didn't ask that she was in Wales.
And she's just put that I'm right. You know, me and Nicole have always been on the same wavelength.
She's marrying me!
Yeah, but she's going to have an affair with me.
I get the feeling she's lost all sort of enthusiasm for this marriage. About a month, exactly a month ago, she was all excited about the idea of marrying me. I get the idea that the sheen is off, the lustre has gone.
That's why always better to have an affair if you want to keep the excitement. That's what I say.
Absolutely.
We've had another message from Ros Blessed that can't be read out on the air, but thanks for that, Ros.
Yeah, we acknowledge the message that is far too rude, even for this late night show.
Moving not so swiftly on.
Just to say, Nicole said maybe not anymore. That's a bit harsh, Nicole. Which I presume is a reference to her enthusiasm for our marriage.
But if you look at the message she's just sent, she's put, Ben is right, Carlisle is near Scotland, maybe not anymore. Is she saying she thought Carlisle was near Scotland and it's now moved? I mean, Nicole, whole cities don't move. You know, it's a little bit naive of you to think like that, but there you go. Before we think about the next random song, and this might lead us into it quite nicely, I'd like to say a big hello to Lee Gibbling, who's listening, who I also met doing a summer season in Cromer. But and this sounds a bit strange, but if you hear him, it's amazing. He is a brilliant beatboxer.
Right.
And he can do sort of really good...
What's a beatboxer?
Sort of one of those blokes that can go... but actually sound good.
You are multi-talented, aren't you? You sing Stevie Wonder songs.
You
sort of make weird bopping noises with your mouth, honestly.
Yeah, it take me literally weeks of denial to learn how to do that.
Weeks of denial. Which, as we all know...
Don't make a joke about denial!
...means that you're stopping yourself have something.
Well done, thanks so much. Yeah, but Lee Gibbling, amazing beatboxer, and can do sound effects like that bloke in Police Academy.
Right.
So he did a whole routine about...
Or does the guy in Police Academy make sound effects like Lee Gibbling?
No, because Police Academy was released probably before Lee Gibbling was born.
No, you always come up with good excuses.
Always the best. Here is a random song. There we go. When Love Takes Over, David Guetta featuring Kelly Rowland. Is that your favourite Rowland?
No, Rat, Brivron.
Right, yeah.
And that's it.
Was David Guetta your favourite David?
No, Jason and...
Cameron?
Yes.
Yeah, brilliant. There you go. That was a bit more retro than some of our songs have been lately, but it just shows that we don't know what's going to play.
Was it retro?
Well, it was a few years ago, and I think the ones we've done lately have all been very current.
Right, okay. Well, that's lovely to know that we do songs.
Yeah. And if anyone wants me to sing anything else, just get in touch at the usual methods. And
I'd like to know if Mandy Elliott liked any of the two, more recent songs. Well, no, we've only played one. Yeah. Did you like that one, Mandy?
She hasn't commented on me singing a Stevie Wonder, which I think she should be honoured by. Before I mention anything else, if you've just started listening to this programme and think, this has been going since 10:30, I've missed a great chunk of it, don't despair.
No, there's no despair needed.
By tomorrow morning, we have an almost on-demand service where WGNI does have its own YouTube channel, which is WGNI 1, where you can listen to not only any previous radio broadcasts we've done since February, but also the first 6 episodes of the We've Got No Idea What We're Going to Say podcast, which appear on there, which is slightly crazy.
Yeah, so if you don't get enough of listening to us in our fortnightly shows on Ignite Radio, then heck, you can listen on YouTube too.
By heck you can, and also search iTunes for WGNI, and you'll find all our podcasts on there. We've done 3 series of 12 20-minute episodes, and Series 4 is in the pipeline.
I'm excited. We've had a couple more messages. I think the first one I'm going to mention is actually my lovely wife, Nicole Ansi.
Yeah.
She's put that we like to make her sound thick. But actually, Nicole, I'd like to say you do quite a good job of that yourself. She's just pointed out that our songs aren't current. Well, as you know, I'm a bit of an expert in this pop music. And while this one, as we just said, was retro, I believe the first one we played, you said it was not currently number 1.
Yes, Daft Punk featuring Pharrell Williams, if I'm not
sure
wrong.
how you get more current than that. Surely that is the definition of a current song?
If you listen to a song whilst putting your finger into a plug socket, you get more current than you had previously.
I'm sorry.
And if you've got sort of raisins and sultanas and similar fruits to that, you can often get more current.
She's made a very good point. I have to accept she missed the first one. We know that she wasn't listening. That is a very good point.
That is a good point. Do you know, I think we need to stop talking about Nicole C now. Well, you know, maybe we don't if it's going to upset you that much.
No, I was just thinking you're right.
I do think she's a wonderful person, but there are other people. Well, I think what she's got to think about is who's the best person to have an affair with, and it's usually...
If she's getting a divorce with me, it's not an affair.
Yeah, but the papers haven't been signed yet.
Right.
And usually, if you're going to have an affair, it's someone in the friend-type bracket of one of the people involved. Right. You know, you're asking for trouble, that's what I'm saying.
Anyway, much more excitingly, Pascal Simon has messaged us.
I don't want to cast aspersions on Pascal Simon, because I've met him and he's a lovely man. But when you say much more excitingly, is that strictly right?
Much more excitingly than thinking about you sleeping with my wife.
Well, that's where you and I are completely different in our opinion.
Yeah, Pascal points out that we should be playing some deep house tunes. We should be dropping some beats, as people like me like to say. Maybe
we should get Lee Gibling on to do a beatbox for us, and Pascal Simon would be happy then.
Does beatboxing count as deep house? I think it's not the same.
I don't know deep house.
Right.
I'm
Some
sorry.
of it was very nice. He
sorry,
played
Pascal.
some. I was surprised that I liked it.
I think I made this joke when Pascal Simon was here, but is deep house music when you go and do some DJing in your basement?
No. Oh, but he does like beatboxing, so that's all good.
Good.
We've had another request in from Rosalind Blessed. She wants Ben to sing some Erasure. Is it Erasure? Erasure.
Oh, God, I can't remember any Erasure. That's terrible.
There must be so much Erasure that I could think of.
There must be so much Erasure. Do you know what, Ros? While the next random song is on, I'll look up some Erasure and I will definitely give you a brief, lovely time with some Erasure.
You're going to give her a brief, lovely time. That's what you're going to give my wife.
Yeah, just by saying a lovely time, your mind instantly goes to something sexual. You
No, when it comes to you, a brief, lovely time.
Yeah.
Nicole's just messaged now, you, Ben. I'm not sure what that means. Oh, right. Sorry. Well, I just keeps talking about it.
Right, yeah, okay, that's fine. Anybody else we haven't said hello to yet who we should say hello to? What I should point out is that how long have we got left of this programme? Just under 20 minutes. And
Lee said he'd love to do that, by the way.
Really?
Lee Gibling has messaged us to say that he would love to beatbox on
Come on and beatbox. Well, get in touch, Lee. Let us know when you're in London, and if it happens that we can organise it on one of the days when we're broadcasting, because we only do this on a Monday night fortnightly. But feel free to come and beatbox with us. Be a guest in the studio. That would be blooming exciting.
We would be very excited to have you as a guest.
We've said the odd rude thing on this show, like bastard, and you said something.
Yes.
Bugger, I think you said. I've stopped saying bloody and changed it to bloomin'. Which I think is possibly a little bit too unnecessarily tame.
Heck.
Yeah, heck is always a good word.
A little respect. That's a good one. Please.
Oh, you're doing it now, are you? Give a little respect to me.
I think maybe I shouldn't have joined in then, because she specifically asked for you, and I sort of joined in.
You've ruined it slightly. And were Erasure a gay band? Or not?
She's just written a play where I'm gay for you, so I wouldn't worry about it. Well, I could have spoilt everything by that one.
Yeah, I think you could have done. That's not the play.
I'm so in love with you.
I'll be forever true.
Stop now.
Yeah. So that was just for you, Roz. I never thought... Well, that's kind of the whole point of the show. We've got no idea what we're going to say. I never thought this would degenerate into singing things that people message us about.
Yeah, when we said there was no music requests,
yeah,
we didn't specify that we would sing stuff that people
We've
asked
found
us
a
to
way to do music requests, haven't we? I'm quite excited by it, if I'm completely honest. So, yeah, there you go. Well, I think... You can normally tell how good something's been by how quickly the time goes by.
Yeah.
I think the time's racing by tonight. And
not for the listeners.
Well, I've got to say, normally when I spend 43 minutes in your company, it feels like an hour and 20, you know. But there you go. Has anything happened in the world lately that shocked you?
Well, we go back to this every time, that I don't really follow events that are happening in the world.
You must have heard about this, because... people that know me will know I support Liverpool Football Club, and there was something controversial happened about 7-8 days ago involving Liverpool's forward from Uruguay.
What, they played an interesting game of football?
No, involving Luis Suarez, and during the game of football, have you not heard about this?
I think I've heard you mention it. Right. Someone bit somebody. Whilst the ball wasn't really all that near him, the ball had just gone away, and he tried to bite one of the defender's arms playing for Chelsea, and he's since been banned for 10 matches, and it's one of the most controversial things in the world of football for a while. It all annoys me because they earn so much and they do stuff like that, and you think they earn so much. They put tackles in. Occasionally, people get injured with legs and breaking. I feel like fair enough if you're going for a tackle and you mistime it and like something nasty happens there. I think that's an element of the game. Exactly. Yeah, you kind of think how much of a nutter do you have to be to think. Right, I'm so annoyed right now, I'm just going to have to bite this bloke's arm. You actually do have to be a nutter, I think. And this bloke has had controversy before. He got into a problem with whether he'd been racist on the pitch to another player, and he got banned for that. When he played for his previous team in Holland, he tried to bite someone on the neck there, apparently, and he got banned for 7 games. You kind of think, yeah, you are an amazing footballer, one of the best in the world, and apparently all the players say what a nice bloke he is off the pitch, but the rest of the time on the pitch is a complete tosser. Right, well, I think one thing I need to mention that happened in London quite recently, and I mentioned it... someone? Yeah. Why? Well, I'd just like to say... You. It's you that I bit. When you say quite recently, you mean right now? Weirdly, I then pointed my microphone at you as though you didn't have your own. Yeah, now there's been double the scream volume. Those marks aren't going to come out of my thigh easily. Sorry. We've just got... I was really going to... We have had a message from Pascal, which I will mention in a second, but I was excited to say that Lauren da Costa, international chess master and flatmate of mine, who has been part of the show in previous shows, ran and completed the London Marathon. I think we should say a special congratulations to Lauren da Costa for that, because that's no mean achievement. He's not here tonight, so I will say something nice about him. I think... Go on, then. Oh, is that it? You've done it? Yeah, you did well. Well done, Lauren da Costa. Excellent. And he did it for charity, which is always good. Do you know how much he's raised so far? I don't, but I know we did a Simmel chess game for charity. How much did you raise there? We raised over £200 just from one evening playing 17 games of chess. That's fantastic. So what did Pascal have to say for himself? He's got cheeky history at the World Championship as well. Remember his hand to avoid the goal? Does that mean something?
He's talking about Luis Suarez.
Versus Ghana in 2010.
He's shown his football knowledge there. I don't think you could ever talk to Pascal about this.
No idea.
Clearly I could. Yeah, of course, if you're that concerned about Luis Suarez, while he was playing for Uruguay in the last World Cup, he did a blatant handball on the line to stop a last-minute goal going in that would have knocked Uruguay out. Ghana got a penalty, he got sent off. Then Ghana missed the penalty, and Uruguay ended up winning, and as they missed, they filmed Suarez in the dugout having been sent off, and he was like massivly celebrating. And you're like, yeah, bit of a cock.
You're not really a nice player.
It's kind of upsetting because supporting Liverpool, I do still really like him and think he's awesome, but you just wish he wasn't as much of a tit on the pitch sometimes. But you know, sometimes it must be the same for you as an actor. When you just get so in the moment, you just completely lose yourself and end up biting someone.
I do that, though. But then I am a mentalist, so that's why I know that Suarez must be too.
Yeah, exactly. And you share many of the same traits, don't you?
Yes.
Have you ever been to Uruguay?
Yes.
Right, did you like it?
Yes.
Can you tell me anything about that trip to Uruguay? Because this is the first I've ever heard of it.
I made it up.
Right, Nick and I have a lot to talk about. Here's a random song. Well, just when you thought it couldn't get any more retro, there was a song from about 14 years ago.
So yeah, when we've been accused of not playing any current songs, that was a song I actually remember from when I used to listen to popular music.
You mean that song's so old you know about it?
Yes.
Corner Shop and Brimful of Asher live on Ignite Radio. Proof that we've got no idea what we're going to play. You see what I've done there?
That's like the name of our show.
Can I just ask, I know there's not too long left now, we've got about 7 and a bit minutes left. If anybody knows what the hell that song is actually all about, I'd like them to explain it to me. Because
isn't it just about putting your head on bosoms?
Well, that part of it I get, but the
right.
whole brimful of Asher on the 45, it's just a brimful of Asher on the 45. Brimful of Asher on the 45, what does that mean?
I don't know. Can maybe someone write in? We've got about 7
minutes of
the show left.
I'm relying on people like Pascal Simon, who I think may know the things like that. I think he holds the key. So, Pascal, it's down to you. He knows about
footballing, he knows about beatboxing, he knows about deep house.
Yeah, maybe Lee Gibling knows. He knows about beatboxing.
I wonder if Nicole C. will know.
I doubt it. But that sounded a bit disparaging. I didn't mean that.
You see, you're making these comments, but Pascal has no idea what a brimful of Asher on a 45 is a bus line in London, he thinks.
Yeah, no, I think it's something to do with the speed that records play at. Because you could get a 45, it was like a long play vinyl
that
or
was
something
a vinyl,
like that.
Yeah, vinyl speed.
I think it's something to do with that, but I don't know what the hell a brimful of Asher is. If anybody out there knows and is
maybe
listening,
someone Google it for us.
You've got 6 minutes to find out. And before we finish, there's a few more people I'd like to say hello to that have messaged us.
Absolutely, let's do it.
I'd like to say hello to Sheena Hume, who was one of the producers of my summer show in Cromer a few years ago. And so thanks to you for your message. And also to James Ludlow, who, this is quite emotional for me actually, I'm not sure if he's still listening, I think he was at the start. He was my best friend while I was at junior school.
Right.
And then there was a sad occurrence when we sat our 11 plus exams. He was one of those guys that was on the cusp of passing or not and didn't get accepted by the grammar school that I went to. And they appealed, I think his family, I don't know, but they went through this appeals process and he never got in and he went to a different secondary school and we've kind of drifted apart ever since then.
But you wouldn't want to stay talking to a thickie, would you?
No, but he definitely wasn't a thickie. That's what
I'm
upset
saying that
me.
you've spoken to Nicole quite a lot, so it's fine.
I'm so sorry, Nicole. I mean, Nicole has messaged and sort of insulted me for having a go at her, but I didn't mean it like that. I really didn't. Now Nick has just out and out insulted you. I'm so sorry. Come into my arms. I will make it all better for you. Honestly. Getting back to James Ludlow, just before I stop talking about him, I was sad because there were some people at my grammar school that, for want of a better word, were twats, and he definitely wasn't, and would have definitely added to the whole thing and never got in.
Well, I think, although I am excited to hear about him, we have to mention the fact that Lainey Boyle has answered the question about Brimful of Asher.
Do you know, of all the people I knew I could rely on, Lainey Boyle was one.
What, really? Rely on her?
Yeah, I rely on her.
Wow.
You just... no, go on.
Yeah, so anyway, let's read out what she's put. She said the song is based upon the history of film culture in India.
I know one of the members of Corner Shop is called Tajinder Singh, so that makes sense.
Yeah, since their introduction, Indian films have relied heavily on song and dance numbers.
Bollywood for glory.
Almost always, the singing was performed by background singers, while the actors and actresses lip-sync.
Right.
Asha, and I might say this name wrong, Bosel, do we think?
Bosel, yeah.
Bosel is one of these playback singers who has sung over 12,000 songs.
Wow.
Playback singers Lata Mangeshkar, her older sibling,
Right.
Mohammed Rafi, one of the top male playback singers of the mid-century, are also mentioned in the song.
That is completely awesome. Thanks for that, Lainey. For all those of you that are old enough to remember the original time Brimful of Asher came out and have wondered for nigh on 15 years what the heck it was all about, you've just had it explained to you there, bloomin' marvellously.
That was exciting, and a big thank you to Lainey Boyle for actually coming up with the answer.
Well,
to
you're
that.
always high in my estimations, Lainey. You've just gone only slightly higher.
Yes.
But well done,
slightly higher.
Yeah. So, there you go. Nicole C has just put something very disparaging just on her final comment there.
I get the feeling that Nicole is definitely... The sheen is off the marriage, the sheen is off the listening to the radio show
I think the sheen is off the potential affair as well, which is really upsetting, but I'll work on it. I'll get in touch with her afterwards. And I can't believe we've only got about 3 minutes of this broadcast left. It's all drawing
this has
to a
gone
close.
ridiculously quickly this hour.
I've
Maybe not for the
enjoyed it.
listeners.
Suffice to say, we'll be back on again if you've enjoyed it in a fortnight's time.
Yeah, I just want to say, of course, before we do start signing off, big thank you to the guys from IgniteRadio.com who have been legends as always.
As ever, it's been brilliant. This is about our 6th or 7th show on Ignite Radio now.
I think so.
Hopefully we're going from strength to weakness, which doesn't really make any sense, but make of that what you will. But no, thanks to Daniel and Callum, as ever. And thanks to all you guys for listening and being a fantastic part of the show. It's always good to hear from you and to get your messages and just to know you're out there listening to our inane ramblings.
Ros Blessed said she had just spent quite a bit of time looking that up about Brimful of Asher, and she's now going to smack Lainey in the face for coming up with that.
Because it now feels like all that time was wasted for Ros.
I think
it's funny,
so.
isn't it? We requested something, it made us feel lovely and warm inside, and exactly the same thing has caused Ros Blessed to go into an uncontrollable rage. You never know how some people will react to things.
No. I think we just need to mention one thing we talked about earlier, which was the anti-shout-outs.
The anti-shout-outs. Sadly, there are some people who've been mentioned who haven't confirmed they were listening, so I think they do completely deserve an anti-shout-out, so I think it's Nick that falls upon to deal them that
Well, the one person that I'm particularly close to with her lovely fun bags, Rachel Woolett.
Yeah,
We mentioned her. She hasn't commented. Your shout-out is retracted.
Who the heck knows what's going on there? Unlucky, love. Anybody else?
There's a couple of your friends here. Mr. Steve Medler.
Steve Medler, what happened, Steve? It was going so well at the beginning of the show. I thought you were there. Maybe you were there. You didn't comment.
Consider your shout-out null and void.
Oh, dear.
Ros Blessed's got a rage on, apparently, according to this. Also, Neil Reynolds. You mentioned him at the beginning of the show.
He was one of the first. He was one of the first. I thought he'd be there right till the bitter end, and it wasn't to be for you, Neil. I'm sorry, mate, but there you go.
No messages from Neil Reynolds. Your name is struck off the list.
Well, about 45 seconds left. It's been a pleasure. It's been Ignite Radio. It's been no idea what we've got to say. If you
a few seconds left, just to say that Lainey's come up with a very good... She can hit me if she can catch me, referencing the fact that Ros has quite badly broken her leg.
I think that's only going to make Ros feel more annoyed, Lainey. You're dicing with death.
Okay,
but,
so we are moving on to finally closing the show.
Absolutely, everybody. Once again, it's been a pleasure, and as is my wont and has been for the past few years, it's over to Nick Murphy to sum up with his feelings about life, the universe, and nothing.
Well, thank you for that, Ben Simmons. Yes, big thank you to the guys at Ignite Radio. Thank you all for listening. We would be nothing without you, and we almost are. From us, goodbye.